General Hospital, Michael and Jacinda's dangerous love deepens. In Port Charles, every love story seems to come with a secret, and Michael Corinthus's newest entanglement is no exception. What started as a convenient alliance between Michael and Jacinda has spiraled into something neither of them expected: genuine, consuming love. Yet, as their connection grows, a shocking truth about Jacinda's family could destroy everything they've built, from convenience to connection. At first, Michael and Jacinda's relationship was built on strategy. Both had something the other needed. For Michael, Jacinda's sharp instincts and new connections in town offered him leverage in the ongoing business rivalries that swirl around the Corinthos family. For Jacinda, aligning with Michael gave her protection and access to priceless advantages in a city full of rivalries and hidden agendas. They both told themselves it was temporary. But late nights at the Metro Court became longer. Conversations grew personal. Glances lasted a little too long. Before either of them realized it, the lines had blurred between convenience and something undeniably real. One evening in Michael's office, while they were laughing over takeout boxes and files spread across his desk, the tension snapped. "Jacinda," he murmured, his voice soft but heavy with meaning. "We keep saying this is nothing serious. So why does it feel like it is?" Her reply came after a long pause. "Maybe because it's becoming something real, Michael." Their lips met, sealing a shift neither could undo. What followed wasn't planned, but it changed everything. A night that changed everything. When morning came, they didn't rush apart. Michael watched her stir beside him and realized, to his own disbelief, that what he felt wasn't guilt or confusion but peace. Jacinda smiled, trying to lighten the moment, but there was a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. "This doesn't ruin things, does it?" she asked softly. Michael shook his head. "It doesn't ruin anything. It makes everything clearer." Their lives became intertwined. They began to appear together at the Quartermain mansion, sometimes drawing curious looks from family members, but ignoring the whispers. Michael seemed happier, grounded. Jacinda, known for her guarded exterior, began to open up bit by bit. Then everything changed. The secret of Nina's daughters. It began with a casual remark from Willow, who mentioned in passing a new lead about Nina Reeves's family history. Nina, still reeling from the dramas of her past with Nell and Willow, had always believed that she had twin daughters, one lost, one found. But as Michael started connecting dots, something didn't add up. Through a mix of family records, old hospital files, and a confidential DNA result accidentally routed through one of his business contacts, Michael discovered a staggering truth. Jacinda wasn't just some mysterious newcomer. She was Nina's other daughter, the one Nina never knew she still had. The shock hit him like thunder. He sat in his office, staring at the documents, the names, the timelines. It all aligned. Jacinda Reeves, Nina's long-lost child. But there was more. According to the same file, Nell had never been Nina's daughter at all. The twins were Willow and Jacinda, not Willow and Nell. Michael's hands trembled as he gathered the scattered papers. His mind raced through every moment he'd shared with Jacinda, every kiss, every confession. "No," he muttered to himself. "This can't be right." But every piece of evidence pointed to one truth. The woman he loved was tied to Nina in a way no one had imagined. Torn between love and the truth, Michael couldn't bring himself to tell Jacinda. Not yet. He told himself she had been through enough since arriving in Port Charles. She didn't need this shock. Besides, revealing it now could destroy what they had just begun to build. Still, he couldn't hide his turmoil forever. At the Quartermain estate one evening, Jacinda noticed his silence. "You've been distant lately," she said, searching his eyes. "Is something wrong?" He forced a smile. "No, I'm fine. Just tired. Work's been complicated." But Jacinda didn't buy it. "You're lying," she said gently. "I can feel it." Michael took her hands, hesitating before speaking. "Jacinda, there's something I need to tell you, but I can't not yet. Just know that it doesn't change how I feel about you." Her expression softened. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together." Those words only made the guilt cut deeper. Michael's dilemma. Over the next few days, Michael found himself torn between conflicting impulses. He could tell Jacinda the truth and risk the fallout or bury the secret and protect her from the pain. Every time he saw her, the secret pulled heavier on his conscience. He confided only in one person, Willow. Willow, I found out something about Jacinda and Nina, he said late one night, after checking to make sure no one else was around. Willow frowned. Michael, what do you mean? She's Nina's daughter, Willow, not Nell. You and Jacinda. He stopped himself, swallowing hard. Your sisters. Willow's eyes widened, her breath catching. Are you sure? I've seen the proof, he answered quietly. But I can't tell Jacinda or Nina. Not yet. Willow looked at him sadly. Keeping that secret won't protect anyone for long. Especially not Jacinda. Her warning echoed in his mind long after she left. A proposal in the shadows. Despite the storm brewing underneath, Michael's love for Jacinda grew stronger. Perhaps, on some level, he believed commitment could protect them both. Or maybe he just longed to hold onto the one person who made him feel whole amid all the confusion. He planned something small, just a dinner at the Metro Court Terrace, the same place where they had shared their first real laugh weeks ago. When Jacinda arrived, she noticed the soft candlelight and the nervous look on his face. Michael, what's all this? She asked with a teasing smile. He took her hand. Jacinda, you came into my life when I wasn't looking for love. But somehow, you became everything I needed. I don't want to imagine my life without you. Her eyes filled with tears as he pulled out a small box. Will you marry me? For a moment, time froze. Michael, she whispered, her voice trembling. Yes, yes, I will. He kissed her, relief washing over him. But when she rested her head on his chest, he closed his eyes, haunted by the secret he still hid. Nina's world on the brink. Meanwhile, Nina remained unaware that her life was about to change again. The truth about her daughters loomed closer than ever, tangled in Michael's silence and Jacinda's trust. As their engagement became the talk of Port Charles, whispers began to surface. People noticed tension between Michael and Willow. Others remarked on how oddly protective Michael seemed whenever Nina's name came up around Jacinda. The foundations of this fragile happiness were starting to crack. One night, Jacinda returned to Michael's office, intending to surprise him with dinner. Instead, she walked in on him staring at the DNA file he thought he had hidden. Her eyes scanned the page before he could move it. Michael, she said, her voice trembling. What is this? He turned slowly. There was no more escape. Jacinda, I was trying to protect you, he said quietly. I didn't want to hurt you, but you deserve to know. The room fell silent except for the faint hum of the city outside. Jacinda's eyes filled with confusion, then realization. You knew I was Nina's daughter and you didn't tell me? Jacinda, please. She stepped back, shaking her head. Everything between us, was it just a lie? No, never. I love you, Michael said urgently, reaching for her hand, but she pulled away. Tears streaked her face as she whispered, You've destroyed the one thing I thought was real. Poor Charles on edge. Now, everything hangs in the balance. Michael's love led him to deception. Jacinda's identity threatens to unravel families. And Nina's heart stands to be shattered once again. As Port Charles waits for the fallout, one question lingers. Can love survive when it's built on secrets this deep? For now, Michael can only watch the woman he loves walk away. The truth finally in the open and the wedding ring still clutched in his trembling hand. Would you like me to expand this into a multi-part serialized version with parallel scenes from Nina and Willow's perspectives? Next, we will learn about the explosive drama unfolding as Drew Kane's ruthless bid for the Quartermain mansion spirals into total chaos, potentially unleashing his darkest side yet. In the shadowy underbelly of Port Charles, Drew Kane has been strutting through the streets like a conqueror on the verge of claiming his empire. Ever since Veronica Ronnie Bard whispered promises of selling him the iconic Quartermain mansion, this sprawling estate, with its grand columns and hidden gardens that have witnessed generations of family secrets, represents more than just bricks. and mortar to Drew, it's a symbol of power he craves to wield against his enemies. Ronnie, a cunning outsider with a mysterious past tied to shady real estate deals in upstate New York, initially seemed eager to offload the property, perhaps to escape her own tangled web of debts from a failed business venture involving antique smuggling. Drew's gloating sessions at the Floating Rib Bar have become legendary, where he boasts to anyone who will listen about evicting the Quartermaines and turning the mansion into his personal fortress of revenge, complete with high-tech security systems and a private vault for his covert operations. But beneath this bravado lies a man haunted by his fragmented memories and past betrayals, fueling his obsession to dominate the family that once cast him aside. Drew's overconfidence crumbles. As the deal inches forward, GH fans are buzzing with anticipation over how Drew's arrogance might lead to his downfall, especially now that Tracy Quartermaine has unearthed a bombshell from the family archives. Tracy, the sharp-tongued matriarch known for her no-nonsense attitude and collection of vintage pearls that match her steely resolve, stumbled upon Monica Quartermaine's authentic last will and testament hidden in a forgotten safe behind a portrait of Edward Quartermaine. This document, penned in Monica's elegant handwriting just months before her tragic passing, meticulously outlines her deepest wishes for the estate, emphasizing its role as a sanctuary for Quartermaine unity rather than a pawn in corporate wars. Detailed clauses reveal Monica's intent to pass the mansion exclusively to Tracy, citing her sister's unwavering loyalty during family crises like the ELQ takeover battles and the Ice Princess Diamond saga, while explicitly barring any external sales that could fracture the legacy. Tracy's eyes widened as she pored over the pages under the dim light of her study, realizing this could rewrite the Quartermaine power dynamics forever and shield the home from interlopers like Drew. With her trademark smirk, Tracy is poised to rally the family, perhaps even enlisting Ned's legal expertise or Michael's business acumen to enforce the will's ironclad terms. The paperwork heist unfolds. Before Tracy can storm the gates, a whirlwind of subterfuge erupts when Ronnie pauses at the signing table, her pen hovering uncertainly as doubts creep in about the morality of betraying the Quartermaine trust. Enter Outback, the enigmatic wildcard, a former Australian model turned Port Charles informant with a knack for espionage. Her sun-kissed tattoos hinting at adventures from Sydney's underworld to the nurse's ball red carpet. Motivated by a secret grudge against Drew from a botched investment deal years ago, Outback swipes the mansion deeds right from under Ronnie's nose during a tense meeting at the Metro Court, where crystal chandeliers cast flickering shadows on the unfolding betrayal. The theft sparks pandemonium. Drew lunges after her, his tailored suit ripping at the seams as he chases her through the hotel's labyrinthine corridors, dodging bellhops and startled guests while shouting threats that echo his military training from his Navy SEAL days. Outback, agile and street smart, vaults over velvet ropes and slips into the service elevator, clutching the papers like a trophy from a high-stakes poker game she once won against Sonny Corinthos. This diversion buys Tracy precious time to race to the mansion in her vintage Rolls-Royce, honking impatiently at traffic while mentally rehearsing the confrontation that could dismantle Drew's dreams. Along the way, she might even pause to confide in Brooklyn over a quick call, weaving in emotional layers about preserving Monica's memory amid the clan's ongoing feuds. Climactic showdown at the mansion. Drew, panting and disheveled, scrambles to salvage the signing by cornering Ronnie in the Quartermaine boathouse, where the salty harbor breeze mingles with the scent of impending defeat. He presses her with charismatic pleas laced with subtle intimidation, recounting fabricated tales of how he'll honor the estate's history while secretly plotting renovations that include a war room for his anti-Quartermaine campaigns. Just as Ronnie's resolve wavers and her hand reaches for the pen again, the heavy oak doors burst open with Tracy's dramatic entrance, flanked perhaps by a loyal butler wielding the will like a shield. Tracy's voice booms through the halls, quoting verbatim from Monica's document about the mansion's sacred status, her words slicing through the tension like a scalpel in one of Monica's old surgeries. Drew's face contorts in fury as the truth dawns. The sale is void, tainted by fraud since Ronnie lacked any legal claim. A revelation that could land her in hot water with the PCPD if Scott Baldwin gets involved. Even if the ink had dried, the will's stipulations invoke unbreakable family trusts established decades ago during the Casa Dini incursions, ensuring the property remains a Quartermain stronghold. Drew slinks away, his empire-building fantasies shattered, but not before exchanging a venomous glare with Tracy that promises escalating warfare. Drew's descent into darkness. The sting of this monumental loss hits Drew like a tidal wave, amplifying his already simmering rage into a full-blown inferno that could scourge Port Charles. Picture Drew retreating to his sparse apartment overlooking the docks, pacing furiously as flashbacks to his deprogramming ordeals and family rejections fuel a darker evolution, perhaps consulting with shady allies like Valentin Casadini for illicit strategies. No longer content with subtle manipulations, Drew might orchestrate smear campaigns against the Quartermains, leaking Dr. DLQ financials to the press or sabotaging their upcoming charity gala with planted scandals. His villainous pivot could involve allying with unexpected foes, like a vengeful Heather Weber, to plot physical disruptions at the mansion, from mysterious power outages to forged eviction notices. Fans speculate this defeat will harden Drew's heart, transforming him from a flawed anti-hero into a calculating antagonist who views the Quartermains as obstacles to eradicate, much like his past clashes with the Casadinis. As he doubles down on retribution, whispers of corporate espionage and personal vendettas swirl, setting the stage for unpredictable twists that keep viewers glued to their screens week after week. This mansion debacle isn't just a setback, it's the spark that ignites Drew's monstrous rebirth, promising a reign of terror that redefines loyalty in Port Charles. Next, we will learn about the brewing storm around Britt Westburn's shocking car crash and how it could shatter Jason Morgan's world in unexpected ways. Fans of General Hospital are buzzing with anticipation as subtle yet chilling hints emerge about Britt Westburn facing a devastating automobile accident with her brand new vehicle, leaving everyone wondering if Jason will be plunged into utter despair following this enigmatic collision. The storyline has masterfully woven in layers of foreboding signals, painting Britt as someone perilously close to disaster behind the wheel. And it's impossible not to sense the tension building toward an explosive turn. Picture this: Britt, the brilliant yet flawed doctor, has always carried an air of recklessness, but recent episodes amplify her driving woes to a near-prophetic level, suggesting the writers are priming us for a high-stakes wreck that could redefine her arc. Jason's involvement deepens the intrigue, as his decision to co-sign the loan for her sleek, high-performance sports car feels like a ticking time bomb, handing her not just keys to freedom, but potentially to catastrophe. This financial tie isn't mere plot convenience. It symbolizes Jason's growing protectiveness, pulling him deeper into Britt's chaotic life while exposing his own vulnerabilities tied to loss and control. Diving deeper into the October 30th episode, the chemistry between Jason and Britt crackles with underlying dread as they plan a celebratory outing to mark her latest triumph, only for Jason's instincts to flare up with warnings about her lead foot tendencies. He vividly recalls a past incident where Britt barely escaped a fender bender during a rain-slicked rush hour, her laughter masking the real fear in her eyes. And now, with this new ride boasting turbocharged speed, his concerns skyrocket. Jason proposes driving himself to keep things safe, envisioning a smooth cruise to the bustling waterfront bar where dim lights and ocean breezes could foster intimate confessions. But Britt's defiant spirit shines through as she brushes off the risks with a playful wink. Yet, as the scene unfolds, Jason relents, sliding into the passenger's seat with a mix of reluctance and admiration, the engine's roar echoing like a harbinger of turmoil. This handover of the keys isn't just a moment of trust, it's a narrative pivot, laced with foreshadowing dialogue that repeatedly circles back to accidents, as if the universe itself is whispering warnings. Inventing a new layer here. Imagine Britt glancing at a mysterious text on her phone mid-drive, her distraction hinting at unseen threats lurking in Port Charles shadows, setting the stage for a crash that's more than random fate. Speculation runs wild that Britt's impending wreck isn't a simple slip-up, but a calculated escalation in her intricate web of personal and professional entanglements, potentially mirroring disasters from her family's tormented history. The show's emphasis on her spotty driving record, think of her swerving through fictional flashbacks to a youthful escapade in Europe where she totaled a rental during a heated argument with Liesel, serves as a clever red herring, drawing viewers in while concealing deeper machinations. If Britt does veer off course on a foggy coastal highway, tires screeching against guardrails as rain pounds the windshield, it might unravel threads connected to her brother Nathan West's bizarre resurrection and the unresolved puzzle of his own vehicular mayhem. Nathan's return exploded onto screens, with him discovered battered and amnesiac in the twisted wreckage of his rugged pickup truck, slumped over the wheel amid shattered glass and smoldering debris. But the why remains a tantalizing void, adding inventive depth. Suppose Nathan's crash stemmed from a covert chase involving shadowy figures from his undercover days, where he tailed a lead on a black market organ ring only to be blindsided by a tampered brake line, erasing chunks of his memory in the impact. This parallel could position Britt as the next victim in a chain of engineered calamities, her new car perhaps rigged with subtle digital hacks that fail at the worst moment, like a GPS override forcing her into oncoming traffic. Delving into the sabotage angle, Nathan's accident screams foul play, with clues pointing to adversaries linked to the infamous Caesar Faison, whose ghostly influence continues to haunt Port Charles like a vengeful specter from beyond the grave. Was Nathan forced off the rain-slicked backroads by a hit-and-run driver in a nondescript black SUV? Their motives rooted in silencing his knowledge of Faison's hidden ledgers detailing illicit experiments, or perhaps internal betrayal. Envision a colleague from his police days, bitter over a botched operation, slipping a sedative into his coffee before the drive, causing the blackout that led to the crash. Nathan's claim of lost year's 7 blank pages in his life story feels too convenient, hinting at hypnotic reprogramming shattered by the trauma, resetting him like a corrupted hard drive. Britt, inheriting this legacy, now steps into the crosshairs as she assumes the prestigious role once held by Professor Henry Hank Dalton, spearheading groundbreaking research into genetic anomalies that echo Faison's twisted pursuits. This project, detailed in imagined boardroom scenes with holographic displays of DNA strands twisting like serpents, promises cures for rare diseases but attracts ruthless opportunists eager to weaponize the findings. Someone, perhaps a rival scientist with a scarred face and a grudge, might orchestrate Britt's downfall to halt progress, staging a crash eerily reminiscent of Nathan's, complete with anonymous tips to emergency services delaying rescue. Enter Jen Sidwell, the enigmatic biotech mogul whose polished facade hides a ruthless agenda, as a prime suspect in any foul play targeting Britt, especially if she defies his shadowy directives during her research tenure. Sidwell, reimagined with a backstory of clashing with Faison in underground labs across Eastern Europe, could view Britt as a loose end, ordering underlings to tamper with her vehicle's fuel injectors for a fiery stall on a deserted stretch of highway. This invented villainy adds tension. Britt uncovers encrypted files in Dalton's old office, revealing Sidwell's embezzlement from the project funds, prompting a late-night drive where paranoia grips her. Jason's fear escalates if Britt emerges from the mangled wreckage with severe injuries, broken ribs, a concussion blurring her sharp mind, forcing him to confront the fragility of their bond. In a heartfelt hospital vigil, Jason paces the sterile halls, flashbacks assaulting him, Sam's tragic losses, his own brushes with death in fiery explosions, culminating in a raw admission to Sonny that Britt has burrowed into his guarded heart deeper than he ever imagined. This wreck could catalyze Jason's evolution, pushing him from stoic protector to a man wrestling with love's terror, vowing to dismantle the threats encircling her, as General Hospital teases escalating enigmas surrounding Britt, Nathan, and the chilling remnants of Phaeton's ultimate scheme, a clandestine vault of serums promising immortality, but laced with madness. Viewers are left on the edge of their seats for revelations that could upend alliances and expose long-buried sins. Stay locked in for the next pulse-pounding updates, where every twist promises to deliver jaw-dropping shocks and emotional gut punches that define the soap's legendary drama.